There we go. That looks a lot better, I think. I like the tree stuff in the background. It's cool. Um, yeah, so movie for October 13th. It was Spiral. What is it? The caption for it. Story from the Book of Saw, right? So it's like a Saw sequel, spin-off kind of thing. I mean, not really. I guess just takes place in the same universe. Again, like I don't know what the perception is on this, but I'm familiar with the Saw movies. There's a time where I did watch all of them. Just like one a day. There's a handful of them, and all of them just kind of vary in quality. But I mean, even so, I like the series quite a bit. So, and I mean, this is one that I've never like gotten around to. So finally got to it, and personally, I like it. I mean, it's not great. Still, for me, I think the best Saw movie. What is it? It's like two or three, might be three, where because there's like an underlying theme a lot of the time with the Saw movies, but I think the theme in three is my favorite. But then also like the overarching theme typically is about like human nature, right? And how I guess like despicable people can be. But I think the third one kind of captures that both sides. Because I mean, the personal theme, I think, again, if it's the one where it's about the dad whose daughter dies in the driving accident, and he's kind of getting revenge, or like the game that Saul's playing with him. It's about whether he's going to forgive or let them die for like how they like wronged his daughter. So obviously, it's like the guy who hit the girl, the judge on the case, and like other like witnesses and stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, so I thought that one was like solid. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Um, but then obviously at the end, the dad gets revenge. You know what I mean? So that's like the commentary on human nature. Human nature. Bad people are gonna be bad people, or people who are wronged are gonna make the wrong choice. Um, so to me personally, that's like a standout in the series. And then I guess with this one, I don't know. This one kind of sits somewhere in the middle. I like the themes a lot. Themes about like police corruption and stuff. I've always felt like that sort of thing is interesting because obviously it's very real. To see it tackled in movies a lot of the time, whether it just be like thrillers or like cop drama sort of stuff. I've always really enjoyed movies like that. Um, I think what is it? Uh, like The Departed, right? Martin Scorsese, or even recently, I finally watched Street Kings, David Ayer with Keanu. Um, yeah, so anybody who knows, just stuff like that, I've always found really interesting. Just sort of like like ground level, police work, sort of thing. But um, yeah, so I mean, this one, kind of no different. It really is like at its core, sort of like a cop drama, but obviously more of like a horror twist with the like Saw elements. So like very gory. Um, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the main thing, just the gore. And a lot of the kills in this one are actually really good. And I mean, again, with like the way Saw operates, right? A lot of the time, it is very it's like poetic justice, I guess. Like what they did wrong in life is like kind of how they're punished. And I mean, like they do have the choice to save themselves a lot of the time by performing an act that corresponds with their like initial like wrongdoings. So I mean, in this, I guess like an example is a cop shoots a unarmed civilian, basically just for what's the term? I guess I don't know. Like the civilian kind of hurt his ego. Like he was complying, but he sort of like did it a little tongue in cheek, and that rubs the cop the wrong way. So he does like a wrongful killing. So I mean, his like punishment, or like his like little salt trap is he has to like bite down on like a cord, and it like starts like pulling off his fingers. You know what I mean? So he doesn't like use a gun ever again. And I mean, like fitting punishment for the crime, right? And there's a few that are like that, just like fitting traps for each wrongdoer. So that stuff I've always kind of liked. I mean, like simple, and I mean, like kind of obvious, especially with something like this, but still effective, I think, in terms of like I guess your storytelling, but then also you can do a lot with the salt traps. Like there's always just something like more to it whenever it like actually fits in with what's going on. because I know like sometimes there's like a few Saw traps where it's like, like what's the relevance, but I mean this one, all of the kills pretty much were like all relevant. So I like that part. Again, like all of the like cop drama stuff talking about corruption. I like that angle. I think it's a very cool angle to take for this. And I mean, I think it's a bit like hacky on my end, like the way I was thinking about it. But initially, because I was trying to piece it together, because like obviously there's always like the twist in the Saw movies, right? There's always a twist. It's always like, oh, what's his name? Jigsaw came back. It, that happens like 2 or 3 times like throughout the Saw movies. So I was like, oh my god, is Jigsaw back again? Is that gonna be the twist? But I was like, nah, it's too obvious. It's too obvious, I think, so I don't think they're gonna do it. So I was trying to think. I was like, okay, so who's gonna end up being? Because I mean, like a lot of the time they're just pinning it and they're saying like, oh yeah, this is like another like Jigsaw disciple type. And I was like, okay, so who's gonna be the Jigsaw like disciple? And it's sort of weird because again, like they're talking about corruption and the people who are being targeted are very close in some way to the main character, Chris Rock's character. So I'm like, okay, so, but like Chris Rock is like in a position where he's like a undercover guy and he kind of does his own thing, so he can't really trust anybody around him. And obviously they set up a character that he can trust, his like new partner. So I'm like, okay, but I mean, even then they do like a fake out with the partner. So I was like, okay, it can't be the partner. And then the thing I was thinking, the reason why I said like I'm kind of hacky for thinking of it was I thought it was gonna be like almost like a Fight Club type twist where it was gonna be him that was setting up these traps, sort of as a way for revenge, yeah, because of like how the people in the department kind of wronged him, but then also like it is justice at the end of the day because everybody in this department, sure they wronged him, but they are doing things outside of that, like at higher levels of corruption, and you can't really have that in like an institution that's like meant to like serve the public. So sort of like a twisted morality sort of thing. Uh, on like Chris Rock's end. So I thought that was gonna be the twist where it was him that's like setting up these like salt traps and like taking off these like officers and stuff. Yeah, so I was thinking that for the longest time, and then obviously it gets revealed that yeah, because the fake out with the partner was like, oh, they killed the partner, but it was actually the partner that was doing this all along as revenge, because one of the cops that they end up killing is his dad's killer. So it's like revenge for that partially, but then also, I mean, again with like the twisted morality thing I was mentioning, you know, getting all these people killed. I mean, inherently kind of bad, but again, like they're like part of an institution that's meant to like serve and protect, and they aren't doing that. They're doing things for either like their own personal gain or just because like they're in a position of power and they're abusing it. Um, so all of that I quite enjoyed. And I mean, like now that I'm talking about it, I just sort of genuinely do like really enjoy the movie. Again, I don't really know what the consensus is, and like the Saw movies like vary in quality, uh, like largely like varied. Because like obviously like some of them are really good, some of them are kind of, and then some of them are just like straight up like kind of annoying in some ways. But I quite enjoyed this one. I think it's very solid. So I mean, like I don't know, because if you're a fan of Saw, I feel like you would have seen this already. Or if you're a fan and you haven't seen it, I'd say watch it. Um, I think it's still like on the level, quality wise, for most Saw movies. And I mean, again, I feel like my only complaints about this one are just complaints I have about some of the other ones. I've never really enjoyed like a lot of the editing side of the Saw movies. That very like sporadic, shaky cam, like quick cuts to like a character like acting hysterical in a moment. And I mean, I've always understood why they do it. It's like to get you in that mindset, right? Like when you're thinking about these like kind of heavy themes, like all these things are like going through your mind. It makes you want to like scream, but you have to like be composed in the moment. Or even then, just like seeing like such gruesome death in front of you, like it's got to make you a little crazy. So whenever they do those like shaky cameras and like these quick cuts like I was talking about, it is to get you in that mindset of like the hysteria that the main character is going through. um, so I've always understood it, but again, like it's just never really been for me. I think it's like a little too much sometimes. um, Another thing too is music. uh, they love that Saw theme, and I mean it's not a bad theme. I'll give them that, but man, they love to just use it like as much as they can. But then also I guess like needle drop stuff, right? Um I know in some of the other ones it's usually like rock music, and I feel like that's just kind of like a staple for most like horror movies, just to like put in rock whenever you can. Again, like I guess it like fits tonally, right? Like rock is a bit heavier, so. But in this one, it's like rap mainly, and again, like I'm fine with that. I like rap a lot, but or even then, just like needle drops in general, I like them a lot. But in something like this, like it always just seems like they're just like they don't really know what to do with the background. So it's like, all right, let's just do like a needle drop. Let's just play a song for right now. Um, Again, it's just like kind of distracting because like one moment I'm watching the movie and the other moment I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I know the song. I like the song, but I don't know. Me personally, it just kind of takes me out. Uh, and then I guess the other thing, there's usually there's like one more thing in my head, but I can't think of it now. Um, I really don't know. But again, just like very minor complaints on my end. But largely I enjoyed it. Chris Rock, pretty alright. All the other acting, pretty good too. Yeah, Samuel Jackson in it for a minute. He's pretty cool. Um, what else? Yeah, I was trying to pinpoint where the partner was from, like what movie I'd seen him in. And the only thing I can pin him on is the internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. He's the like the asshole guy at that's like working at Google, like doing the internship alongside them. Uh, yeah, so there's like a few actors you can pick out. So I mean, like there's that as well. But I mean, that's pretty much it for this one. Again, like largely enjoyed it. I don't know how like controversial that'll be. Um, just considering like how much people enjoy. I guess is the best word for like the Saw movies. Again, they aren't like anything like groundbreaking necessarily. Probably just the first one is like the most groundbreaking because I mean like it was so different, right? And then everything else after that just kind of seems derivative after a certain point. But like there's an audience for it, audience for that kind of like torture, I guess, aspect to it, or even then just people who like these like kind of like morality question based, or like morality based sort of like movies like Saw. Um, and I mean again, like I think it's a good place to like explore like the more like horrific sides of humanity through that. Oh, okay. I actually remember the thing I wanted to like. My again, minor complaint. Since I'm talking about older Saw movies, but this movie does have like a direct reference to the first one, and again, it's just like was it necessary? Not really. But again, it's just for the fans, I guess, right? Uh, it just like cut to the most iconic bit from the first one, just like that starting room, right? You just have the person chained up, and all they have is like a rusty handsaw. Um, yeah, but I mean, either way, obviously largely positive on this. I'm gonna recommend it. Again, don't know how different that is, but I mean, again, like opinions. Just like would love to hear opinions. Like whoever comes across this, if you do, if not, I think this is one that I might think about for a little while longer. So yeah, again, like recommended. Um, just like try to enjoy it for what it is, I guess. And I mean, like if you like, all the things I've talked about so far, just like cop drama stuff, or just like morality based stuff, then I think you'll enjoy this one for what it is. Again, like I've said about other Saw movies, and this one's no different. It's like nothing groundbreaking, I don't think, but it's still just enjoyable. So try to enjoy it. Regardless, take care.